Kona fishermen Nash Kobayashi and Ralph Takafuji both learned their craft at the School of Hard Knocks.
I've been a fisherman all my life, from small kid time, but I only started going out on a boat. Actually, the first time I went out on a boat, I still remember, was 1966. But this was in Kauai, because my uncle on Kauai, where my family was originally from, he was the blacksmith for Robinson. So we'd go out off Nihao and go catch bottomfish. Those days, little hand line, I remember, but they had a lot of fish. In '66, I was only 11 years old. I was slave labor on the boat, actually. They just needed somebody to pull the line, so he said, "You'll do fine." I went with my uncle and this other guy, the old gentleman named Kenny Matsuoka. He owned the boat. Then, let's see, in 1985, I bought my boat in Hilo. Started to go bottom then.
I started fishing in '74 out of South Point, catching pacas, bottomfish, all by hand line with the, how do you call it, drop stone. And I don't know, been doing just about every kind of fishing ever since.
I started out cold, not knowing anything, and made every stupid mistake you could. But I was lucky in those days because at the Hilo Pier, Hilo River, 3 boats down from the launch ramp was this old gentleman named Yasu Sugahara, an old-time fisherman. Every day I'd come in, he'd ask me, "How you do, boy?" When I started bottom fishing, I said, "I can't even find the fish," and he laughed at me. He said, "Oh, no worry, I'll tell you where the fish are, but you don't tell nobody." That's how I learned where the fish was. And gradually he told me all the good spots that he knew and passed it on to me, which I was very lucky.
Actually, I started fishing with my dad, and then we learned from some of the old timers from South Point and Miloli and Napopo side. And same thing like Nash, we learned some from the old man Yasu Sugahara, this old man Tora, Ishida, and yeah, they taught us so much, but majority of what we actually figured out, we had to figure out on our own. Like us on a good night, we pull like almost 2,000 pounds of paca a night. And yeah, back then it was kind of like unheard of at that time.
It takes a broad range of knowledge and skills to be a good bottomfish fisherman.
Don't forget, you're the captain of the boat. You're the fisherman, you're the navigator, the weatherman. Then, as the fact is, what if the fish don't bite? You gotta look for them. Oh, you have to know practically everything. And of course, we learned it all by the School of Hard Knocks. Well, in Ralph's case, he was full-time, but in my case, during the summertime, we'd do ahi fishing and trolling and whatnot. Bottom fishing in those days are strictly reserved for wintertime. Or like
Yeah, same with us. That's all it was for winter time. That's all we'd do bottom fish for. Biggest problem with bottom fish now is everybody just goes the same place over and over. And like all these closures they get, doesn't make any sense if you ask me, because nobody to enforce it, and they're there. They're still out there. Even Saturday, had guys in the closed area still bottom fishing yet.
We have all these wonderful rules, no enforcement. And the bottom fish, they closed a good area right outside here. The pressure moved to the close area right in here, which is a great paca ground. Now it's depleted, totally depleted.
Traditions often dictate a seasonal demand for certain types of bottomfish.
I usually start about middle of November, because the demand for the tradition of having a red fish on a table centered December and January for end of New Year and Christmas. And some people would like a fish for Thanksgiving. Traditional Japanese people would like that. Well, we'd continue usually toward the end of February, past the Chinese New Year, then the demand would just die off.
Although Nash and Ralph are commercial fishermen, a significant portion doesn't go to the market.
In those days, when I started in the 80s, generally I say about 75% went to the market. I'd keep some to give my family and friends. That's the 25%. Ralph was full-time commercial in those days, right, Ralph?
Well, us was whatever mom wanted to eat, that's what didn't go on the market. And we do like at least one trip just before New Year's, and whatever we catch, the whole load, we just give it away. So I think the most we gave away one year was like almost 1,000 pounds we gave away.
Well, those days you had the numbers to give away, because I'd do the same thing before the New Year's. If you had a good catch, you'd take it all and give it to all your friends who would help you out.
Actually, like for me, us was just whatever mom wanted to eat is what went home. Everything else was pretty much sold, or if somebody had a party or something, then we pulled a couple of fish out or whatever they needed. Yeah.
That's for market because you got good prices on that one. And of course, like Ralph says, mom says, I want a hapupu. Yes, mom. Bring it home. Okay.
Yeah, and like ging dai. Ging dai never went to the market. No matter how much we had, it all went home.
Some consumers are also fishermen, but not all fishermen are consumers.
I didn't start eating fish until, when was it? 91? No, not 91. 99, 2000. Yeah, about 99 or 2000, somewhere around there. Before that, I never ate fish really.
He started eating fish right at his house. We're looking at him like, Ralph's eating fish?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I didn't eat fish.
Why'd you start in '99?
I got married, and then I moved to Saipan for a little while because my wife wanted to go home to give birth. So I was fishing in Saipan. And the most hilarious thing, I come home from fishing, only get fish for eat. I was so tired, I was so lazy, whenever I cook, I just ate the fish. That's how I started eating fish finally. We mostly targeted Onaga. We'd average like 600 to 700 pounds a day. And Onaga, blackjacks, and lehi. Those were the three that we mostly caught. So basically that's what my kids grew up eating when it came to fish.
With the availability of a wide variety of fish, Nash and Ralph have their favorites along with how they're prepared.
Lehi, I like raw. Onaga, I don't see what's so great about it. To me, it's actually a kind of a junk fish to eat if you ask me.
I agree on that.
And we catch hapapus. Hapapus are good. Sometimes we catch white tuna. White tunas are pretty good. But pretty much fish was always raw. The way Nash first time seeing me eat fish was kind of like an unusual thing. Yeah. My mom would cut blocks out of it and she'd blanch it so just the outside edge would be cooked, and then I'd eat it with miso.
My favorite, all-time favorite, the hapupu, followed by upaka paka. Oh, I like mine steamed with black beans. Great eating fish. You remember that holy moi used to come up once in a while?
Oh, I don't know what they actually call them, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Beard fish, I think they call it. Some people tell it's terrible, but it tastes pretty good when you steam it with miso. But it's a rare fish to catch.
Yeah, it's like
beard fish.
What we used to call them? Deep sea moi.
Yeah, it looks like a moi with big eyes, blackish color, but it's great eating fish.
All bottomfish fishermen face the same basic challenge, figuring out where the fish are.
Well, I don't know. At one time when we first started going way up Hamakua side, took us like 4 years to really figure out how the fish moved around and where they were. Yeah, it was pretty miserable actually going up there bottom fishing until then. You know, like a 3-day trip, we'd catch maybe like a couple of 100 pounds only. Then when we finally figured out where the fish was, and then we figured out how the schools actually don't just stay one place, they actually move from like one house to the next house. After you hit it so hard, they'll actually move. So once we figured that out, yeah, we like average like at least 1,000 pounds for a couple of day trip.
When you talk about fish being cyclic, one of the weirdest things I noticed at one point, I used to fish way down in Puna. When the volcano would erupt, sometimes the fish wouldn't bite. Uncanny. You'd see them on a depth finder, but they wouldn't bite because the volcano was erupting, like they felt the seismic vibration or something. It was kind of funny. And here again, like Ralph says, we found out real too. The fish move. They could be there one year and they're not there the next. You gotta go find the fish.
Nash and Ralph were taught by the previous generation of fishermen to be their own conservationists to ensure a sustainable fishery.
Like Nash, even I do it the same way too now. When it comes to bottomfish season, well, even before when I was fishing up Hamakua side, I'll hit a spot twice in 1 year, no more.
Yeah, I do the same thing. As a matter of fact, that old man Sugahara told me, don't hit it too hard. Rest the place, go someplace else every year if you can. This is the way we kept our spots really in good shape. You hit it maybe twice a year. The next year you let it rest. Find out you go to another spot. So you always had a good population in those days.
Yeah, because I've shown. Well, these guys are supposedly supposed to be my friends. I showed them spots. You know, they never know anything about bottom fishing, so I just showed them the basics and I showed them a couple places. And unfortunately, they won't go look for another place. They'll just go to the same place over and over, no matter what.
Yeah, same thing here. You don't want to show these people too much because the fishermen nowadays have no conservation ethic. We worried about the next year coming, so we try to limit the amount of damage you do to the grounds. People nowadays don't have that ethic. And here again, like you said, reading a current or knowing how to do it, it's something you don't find in a book. Somebody's got to tell you, or you experience yourself and put one and one together. It's hard to learn sometimes.